After my first year of uni, I decided that it was time to go and explore some of the world, and being a surfer, I decided either Bali or Hawaii would be a good start. It was the right time of year for Hawaii, so I decided to go there. After speaking with Nev, a local surfboard shaper, he lined me up with a family who had 4 daughters who surfed, which was very similar to my own situation with 2 other sisters, and we all surfed. So I went over there not knowing what to expect. I got picked up at the airport by this amazing Hawaiian Polynesian lady, and we just had an instant connection. And I went back to her house, and that first night that I was there, they had a Bible study, and it threw me for 6. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew of Christians is that they were dorky and didn't have much clue of what reality was all about. And so I was amazed when I saw some familiar faces from the surfing world that I had heard of and knew, and people that were dressed in normal surfy clothes that I was into. And so already I guess my eyes started to open a little bit. And just through the course of the night, they had a potluck dinner, they had worship music with the ukulele and the bongo drums, and just shared the word. And I just was amazed that these people had this relationship that was just so inviting, so I guess just so attractive to me, and I wanted to know more about it. So I was in Hawaii for 3 weeks, and over the course of that time I just got to know the people there, and really just saw a genuine heart in these people for just not being selfish and into themselves, but into looking after each other and their community, and talking about real issues in life rather than just the superficial stuff that I had been surrounding myself with for a long time. And on the last weekend I was there, they had a church camp out at this place called Melakahana State Park, and I went along with the family I was staying with, and we just had a fantastic time. And that first night I remember staying awake and playing games. We played euchre, Australia versus America, all through the night, and I just asked all the questions that I could think of for what it meant to be a Christian and what it meant to follow Jesus, who Jesus was. And I got some answers to those questions that didn't turn me away. They made me even more intrigued. And as the day got lighter, I guess, that next morning we went down to the beach, and I just will never forget watching the sunrise for the first time as a creation. And it was just something that still gives me goosebumps right now. And later that morning, just after seeing that, I turned to Ben, who was one of the people who had stayed awake all night with me, and said, I want this for myself. I want to know this Jesus. And so we went and we prayed, and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to pray or what to do, but just this amazing light and lightness fell through me, and it was awesome. I actually came back to Australia 2 days later, or the very next day, and it was all so new and so fresh that I just was really excited on the one hand, but a bit apprehensive of how do I do this by myself. And I remember getting home and being excited and telling my parents and showing them this humongous Bible that they gave me as a gift. And my dad, he's super open-minded, he just said to me, so what are you telling me, you don't believe in dinosaurs anymore? And I didn't know what to tell him. I had no idea. What are Christians allowed to believe? I don't know what they think. So it just began a journey then of, now that I've felt this heart of who Jesus is, I want to know the facts of who he is as well. And so throughout that time, I guess over the last, that was 13 years ago now, in February, and it's still a journey, and it's a really exciting one that it's the best decision that I ever made. That first night that I was in Hawaii and they had the Bible study, there was a guy who was looking at me funny, and I didn't really pay much attention to him, but I have a photo of that night that has me with this lei around my neck and about 50 people around me getting my photo taken because it was my birthday, and there's this guy, this tall guy, shaved head, who was just looking at me with this puzzled look on his face. And I found out later that he, that very night, saw me, and just something changed in his heart, that he knew that I was special and that I was the one that he was going to marry. And if I'd heard that then, I would have laughed in his face and not had a clue. But we got to know each other over those couple of weeks, and he was one of the people who prayed with me to accept the Lord, and told me straight after that he liked me. So after I accepted Christ that day, Ben told me that he liked me, and I was leaving to come back to Australia the very next day, and so it didn't really leave much opportunity for anything to happen. But a couple of months later, after some phone calls and talking over email, I had a phone call from him one morning asking what colour the roof of my house was, and I'm like, I have no idea, I'll go outside and check. And surprise, there he was. He'd come over on a surprise trip that he'd organised with my parents to visit me and just flesh this thing out, see if it was anything between us. And we started the whole long distance relationship. I went back there in, that was in May, I went back there in July, and then I went back again in November and stayed for 3 months. And during that time I got reconnected with the church there, and it was time for the church camp out again, and I was on a big high of what had happened the year before, and decided that it was the perfect opportunity to get baptized. So that same Sunday morning, a year after I had made a commitment for Jesus, I got baptized at that beach right there, and it was a really special time to be able to share my testimony of how I had just grown to know Christ in the first place, but understand him over the last year. So it was an awesome opportunity to do that. And it was a year and a half after that Ben and I got married in that exact same place as well. So that place, Melakahana State Park, will always hold a really special place for us. And we've been married for 10.5 years now, so it's been an awesome journey that I am just forever grateful that I made that leap to go on a trip by myself, and that it has had the ripple effect that it has had.